What's up, YouTube? Tekken 8 first patch notes. Here we go. Patch actually just dropped on Steam a couple minutes ago. It's like 1.1 gigs or something. So you guys can try out these updates immediately if you guys have the PC version. But let's get right into it. Obviously, there were some changes. There was actually some balance changes. I didn't think they were actually going to do balance this early. The game has only been out for a week, really. But let's talk about what they changed here. So let's start at the very top. Special style. Fix the issue with the startup of certain moves would be delayed by 1 frame when buffering an attack input while still in recovery. So they're trying to weaken special style. It's kind of interesting. If you've seen, there's been some clips online where people are using Link's special style to block a low and then down forward 2-1 punish from standing. So it looks like, at least at this point, that there will be some use for special style if you practice it for a tournament level thing that you can't really do otherwise. So that's something to keep an eye on, I guess, for now. Balcony break due to an issue with the specific character, Lily. Caused the balcony break to occur in the character when outside the battle area. If you didn't see this, on the Ozma Center stage, Lily could do, I think it's up 3+4, which she jumps in your head, she kicks you up, and then to 1+2, the push. And if you do that like close enough to the wall, she actually would drop behind the wall downstairs, and you couldn't make contact with her anymore. So that was a major bug. So I'm glad that they fixed that one quickly. And then after this, it's kind of hit or miss. There's some minimal changes and some small nerfs. So Elisa, she got forward +2. It says that the frame data was incorrect. It used to be +8 on block, but it's actually +5. Devil Jin's Hell Sweep. They've changed this, so now the damage has been reduced a little bit for both hits. They reduced the forward movement of the first hit to shorten its reach. And they corrected an issue where the distance between the character and the opponent increased only when also inputting the second hit. So this one's the bigger part, obviously. So they corrected an issue with the distance between the character and opponent increased only when also inputting the second hit. So if you only did the first hit, it was basically different, and now that's going to be a little bit, hopefully, easier to manage. I'll take a look at the game in a second, and I'll find out for sure. Adjustments made to address the high total damage output of the combo. Obviously, Devil Jin, whenever he has a Hell Sweep launcher, it's a much better character. So they say it significantly exceeded the level of other low attacks, which is pretty interesting considering King still has forward neutral too. Counter it, but we'll get to that in a second. Devil Jin Morning Crow 1. Reduce the duration of the attack by 1 frame to make it less likely to hit against sidestepping opponents. So Morning Crow, I believe, is just his fly stance. So it's the one where, after he does the chain, he can fly at you, right? He can also do that fly by itself. But if you ever block the chain, these options are really, really hard to deal with. You can jab out. I forgot. I think most of the options, but one of them will always hit you, try to jab. If you try to sidestep, it doesn't really work. So this option here, they say they reduce the duration of the attack to make it less likely to hit against sidestepping opponents. That sounds like a good change, but it's only 1 frame. So I don't know that it's really going to make that big of a difference. We'll find out. Damage reduction is nice. I would have liked to see damage reduction on some of the other options out of it as well, just so that the entire stance is weaker, because it seems pretty abusable just to do the chain part of it into it, because you're just kind of guessing for your life, it feels like. Modified chip damage on block as well. And this is another part of patch notes, right, that we didn't have to look at before, but now it's here. Chip damage is a definite part of the game, and it's something that we're going to see in patch notes. So chip damage reduced from it as well. Adjustment taking into account the fact that despite offensive capabilities after being blocked, it was still exceptionally strong, which it probably still will be, to be honest, unless the sidestep really is that much more effective against it. Dragunov, down 3-2. Recovery frames have been increased by 2 frames. Adjustment made considering that in specific combos, more damage anticipated could be dealt. Dragunov in general, it seems like this character was a character that everyone complained about. But I think that, this one especially, the QCF4, Sneak 4, this one, I feel like, is a small set of changes. This was a character that needed nerfs. It's something that people asked for. So it's kind of nice that they actually went through it and actually took care of Dragunov a little bit. I'm not going to read through all these, but you guys can get through all of them. The big changes were these two, though. June and Jack, the back 1-2 and her forward 3+4. These were moves where they would spike the opponent down and they would get a guaranteed follow-up, right? So Jack, originally, you'd see this spike at the end of the combo. He does the blue uppercut. It's a ton more damage, right? And then just yesterday, people were posting that he could do this spike into the Rage Art. So definitely was not what we expected to see out of it. So it says fixed an issue with the opponent couldn't perform a backwards Yoshimitsu after an aerial hit. So now it sounds like you can go backwards out of it, and it should be fine. June here, increase recovery time by 5 frames. Increase opponent's recovery time when blocked by 5 frames. These changes were made to address the situation. Unintended follow-up attacks were landing after hitting the opponent with this move as the last hit of an aerial combo, resulting in significantly higher combo damage than intended. So the move is basically the same, except that recovery time has been changed. But both of these options here, both these situations, were causing damage at the end of combos that were kind of unnatural, let's say. Unnatural combo damage. So now they're more in line. But immediately after these patch notes came out, there was already people talking about, wait a second, you took these follow-up attacks away from Jack and June, but what about Elisa? What about Bears? What about Reina? And they didn't take it out of those ones. So it's very interesting so far, right? June, that wasn't the only nerf she got. Up forward 1. This was her 10-frame Punisher. Super good move. Changed the reaction upon hit. This adjustment was made considering the unintended follow-up attacks occurring, allowing for damage output significantly exceeding expectations. So small nerfs there. Honestly, I think June is still going to be a stupid strong character. Like this forward 3+4 follow-up, like this is something that people have only been talking about for the last 2 days. But everything else they were talking about, there's not much different here. So I think this character is still going to be very strong. Leo back 3-1. Increase recovery time by 3 frames only when the move is blocked, resulting in change from a frame range of -7 to -10. So now it's punishable. That's fantastic. This adjustment is made to ensure that the intended mind games are in place. This adjustment is made to ensure that the intended mind games are in place. Address the situation where the return was significant with relatively low risk. That's a funny description. These patch notes, actually, now that I'm looking through them, they're, in detail at least, it's worded so much better than they used to be, because this sentence here, this adjustment is made to ensure that the intended mind games are in place. They actually intend for mind games, and they wanted specific mind games to happen. And now they're like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. So now let's make that -10. So that's kind of nice to see. I actually do appreciate this level of transparency. Back 1 + 2, -9 to -12. Look at that. Also punishable. This adjustment is made to ensure that the intended mind games are in place. Same situation here. Leroy back 3+4. People are upset about this one. Leroy is a character that some people are listing as bottom 5 in the game, and he got a little bit of a nerf here. Reduce the knockdown. This is his move, by the way, the end of combos. It goes into an animation. Reduce the knockback distance when the attack is blocked, making it easier for the opponent's counterattacks to connect. Adjustment made considering the move's long reach, ease of connecting against lateral movement, and the difficulty some characters faced in punishing, leading to a strength beyond expectations. That's interesting. That might be something that, I didn't really see, but maybe it's something that people weren't really trying to abuse because it looked like something that, oh, this is punishable. Why would we just throw this out in neutral? But it sounds like maybe it had more reach than expected. It was hard to punish. And also, ease of connecting against lateral movement didn't change that. So if this move is actually good at tracking sidestep, that might be an option that Leroy players should look into. Lily, up 3+4 transition throw and hit. Collision detection against the opponent has been extended downwards to make it more difficult to slip under a floating opponent. More difficult to slip under a floating opponent. Huh. That's an interesting description. This is the move that led to her balcony break situation, so I'm assuming that's why this has changed here. Some Raven changes, down back 2-1-1, down forward 1-4. These sound like his shadow clones. Recovery frames after crouching guard against a doppelganger attack have been adjusted to match the standing block. Oh, interesting. Recovery frames after crouching guard against a doppelganger attack have been adjusted to match the standing block. I wonder what that was like before. Reina, if you guys didn't know, she could not wave dash across the screen before. It was only once she was within range 3 or something. If she was farther out, she couldn't wave dash. So now they've fixed this. She also looks like her wind godfoot kick thing, whatever, has been rebalanced here. I haven't really looked through random changes here, but I know that she did get hit a little bit here. Reduce knockback distance when the attack's blocked. Remove crouching status during the first half of the attack animation. Increase damage hurt box. Made it possible to defend against it with the reversal move. So you couldn't reverse this before, but now you can. Parries in general have been weakened, so it's kind of interesting that they're allowing this one. Maybe it's just an oversight that they didn't have. Increase the damage hurt box. So it sounds like this move will be easier to hit. Remove the crouching status during the first half of the attack animation. This move, I think, has been going under a lot of stuff, and I think I've been hit by this without knowing it. So this is definitely something that sounds reasonable to me. Adjustment made considering that the attack, with its excellent startup reach and ease of hitting sidesteps, was overly restricting the opponent's actions. Sounds like they're saying it was spammable, so we changed it. Sentai 1+2 changed reaction when hitting a downed opponent. This modification was made to prevent the possibility of repeatedly hitting Kuma or Panda in a face-up position. So that's a minor tweak, more like a bug fix, to be honest. And that's it for Reina. They didn't change her weird wall resplat thing that she has. So if you guys haven't seen, there's these stages where, she gets to a wall, she does a little flip over, it causes this like weird animation state. I think if only the first hit hits, not the second hit. I can't remember the move notation. It might either be up 3+4 or it's something with 3+4. But regardless, it can lead to wall breaks on the Reina stage. You can get multiple wall breaks with it. I'll put a clip here to show you. But they didn't touch that at all, which is strange. Sometimes these patches take a while to go through. So I'm assuming these were changes they meant beforehand and not actually since the actual release. Like maybe, I have no idea, to be honest. But there's definitely a lot missing here because this is the end of the list. Look, forward 4 from Nina. Adjust the timing for the opponent to be able to block by 2 frames when hit from the front and side. What does that mean? Adjusted the timing for the opponent to be able to block. What? This move boasts excellent performance as it has long reach and serves as an excellent offensive starting point. However, the latter half of the duration of the attack guaranteed a powerful follow-up upon hit, leading to damage output significantly exceeding expectations. This change was implemented to address this issue. This move, I've been hit by a bunch. Basically, Nina is stronger than people have known or noticed yet. And I think that this is looking to address that. But I think the character's still going to be super strong. And, overall from these patch notes, none of the characters, although there are nerfs, none of these characters have really been killed, So let's see what else we got here. Steve, during Duck 1+2, distance to the opponent upon the first hit has been reduced. This adjustment is made to alleviate case where combos using this technique did not consistently land consecutive hits on larger characters. So that sounds like a buff for Steve, actually. Interesting. Yoshimitsu, during Manji Dragonfly 2-4 back. Correct an issue where upon transitioning to Muto no Kiwami, I'll let you guys tell me what stance that is. The airborne state persisted longer than intended, leading to opponents' punish attacks hitting while still airborne. So it sounds like that's a small nerf to the Yoshi. Yoshi, another character, Yoshi and Nina, I think, are 2 characters that are like potentially secret top tier. Like people don't know how good these characters are, but you're going to see really good results out of them. They're very hard to deal with. And that's it. That is it, right? So you look at all this and you're like, okay, that's those are actually balanced changes. I was actually curious if this was just going to be more of a fix. Like I expected the Jack and the June thing to be in here. I expected the balcony break fix to be in here. But there's a lot of stuff that's still missing, right? Like, is the king chain grab as a punish where all the chain parts are unbreakable? Is that intended? Is it intended? What about his back 3 power crush when he does the 1+2 extension where he still has armor the whole way through? Is that intended? Are they just not done the patch yet? Victor's throws? Is that intended to be a harder throw break than every other character's? I'm not sure, but it's not touched here. So there's a lot of stuff missing. I'm sure there's plenty more examples you guys can think of. There's other characters that are super good right now, and it's early. The game is only a week old, so I don't want to specifically call out all these other characters and all the moves that I think are broken. But there's a lot of stuff that's very, very good, and I think where the game is at currently, I think that a lot of people would agree that everyone's kind of busted. They came out of the gate with 32 characters here, and I think that people are having a hard time saying what's broken or not because everyone has something that's kind of good. So it's like, well, you can't talk about this character being good when this character is also good, and basically all these characters are good. But then, there are the notable exceptions, right? So Jack, Deviljin, and June are the 3 and Dragunov were kind of the 4, I guess, that people were really talking about a lot. And it's something to be said, right? Like whatever gets talked about the most tends to lead to changes the most. So that is kind of the world we live in nowadays, with developers and communities all being kind of round together on Twitter. So whatever Twitter says goes. So if you guys don't want your character to get changed, maybe stay off of Twitter. That's all I'm saying. Hope that helped you guys. I'm Rip. I'm going to be playing this game nonstop, of course, twitch.tv/levelupyourgame. I've streamed like about 50-something hours already. I'm sure we'll have a bajillion more. Thanks for watching. I plan to do more YouTube videos in the future. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.